Welcome. I am Dvora Yoshiko Dmitrich of Ryukyu Kobudo, Hozon Shinkokai, the organization founded by Taira Shinken to preserve and promote the classic weapons of the Ryukyu Islands. Akamine Esuke Sensei, my teacher and Taira's successor, committed his life to continuing Taira's work. Today, I am proud to be part of this tradition and continue the work of these teachers. This film represents the first in a series of historic and technical works on Ryukyu Kobudo. The film, photographs, and history presented here come directly from archives handed down from Taira Sensei to Akamine Sensei and now to my peers and I. Sponsored by the Beikokuso Hambu, the United States headquarters of Ryukyu Kobudo, Hozon Shinkokai. This film was produced with the permission and support of Akamine Sensei. In 1897, Taira Shinken was born in Nakazato village on Kumejima, one of the many islands off the coast of Okinawa. Shortly after his birth, relatives in the Meizato family adopted the young boy. At the time, the Ryukyu Islands were very poor due to the role they played in the wars waged by Japan. Though poverty and hunger were common across the islands, Taira was known to have had a particularly frail constitution. As with many poor communities, survival was considered far more important than education. As a result, few people of that generation completed school past the 4th grade. After completing what schooling he could, Taira left Kumejima for Iriomote on the island of Ishigaki, where he found work in the coal mines. A diligent worker, Taira's mining career was cut short by a mine shaft collapse that trapped him under heavy debris. Among other injuries, Taira suffered a badly crushed ankle. This injury made it impossible for him to continue in the mines. Determined to overcome his injuries and physical limitations, Taira was committed to finding the means to heal and strengthen his body. The formal concepts of karate styles and dojo, as we know them today, had not yet been realized in the Ryukyu Islands. Furthermore, the indigenous Ryukyuan martial art of tea was not taught to the general public. And though his grandfather, Kanegawa Gibu, had exposed him to Kobudo and tea, Taira did not feel he would find his bodybuilding program in his homeland. At the time, Kano Jigoro and Judo were being widely publicized, both in Japan and abroad. Judo was well known for the physical rigor of its practice. Believing Kano's new art was just what he needed, Taira left the Ryukyu Islands for Tokyo in 1922. Once on the mainland, Taira moved to Guma-ken, the Tokyo community where most Okinawans settled. Here he met Funakoshi Gijin, a fellow Okinawan and the man primarily responsible for introducing Okinawan Karate-do to mainland Japan. Though he came to Tokyo to study with Kano, he found what he was looking for in Funakoshi. Taira threw himself into the study of Funakoshi's karate. His efforts helped him rebuild his body to the point where he became known for his strong, muscular physique. While the effects of his ankle injury were greatly diminished, they were not entirely erased. Taira studied under Funakoshi from 1922 through 1929, when he opened a branch school of Funakoshi's karate in Ikaho with the support of Funakoshi. Through Funakoshi, Taira was introduced to Mabuni Kenwa and Yabiku Moden. Mabuni introduced Taira to Nahua-ti. Yabiku was the preeminent teacher of Okinawan weapons of his generation, and Taira began the study of Okinawan weaponry under his instruction. In 1933, Yabiku awarded Taira a professor's license. Yabiku also founded the Ryukyu Kobujutsu Kenkyukai, a society for the research of Ryukyuan weapons. In 1942, Taira returned to Okinawa and continued his research of Ryukyuan weapons. By 1945, World War II had left Okinawa, its people and economy devastated. At this time, American soldiers developed an interest in Okinawan martial arts. With this interest in post-war poverty, many prominent martial arts teachers chose to open dojo and teach publicly to survive. Taira began teaching Kobudo across Okinawa, as much to feed himself as to continue his research and spread the art. Yabiku Moden passed away in 1943. With his death, many of his students ceased their practice and his organization slowly died. Still committed to Yabiku's vision, Taira formed the Ryukyu Kobudo Kenkyu Kai to continue the work of his various teachers. During these early days, he researched and developed 30 kata and created a solid, comprehensive curriculum that would become the foundation of the dojo he opened in 1959 near Naha. That same year, Taira heard of Bojutsu teachers who were direct descendants of Chinen Sanda, founder of Yamani-ryu. They were Higa Seiichiro, Higa Daisuke, Akamine Yohei, and Higa Jinzaburo from Kakazu in Tomigusuku. To satisfy his curiosity, he left Naha for Tomigusuku to study Yamani-ryu under these teachers. This trip would mark the first meeting between Taira Shinken and Akamine Esuke. Historically, the study of more than one weapon was virtually unheard of. So, Taira's Yamani-ryu teachers asked him to demonstrate Tekko, Nunchaku, and Sai. Akamine Esuke, a fellow Yamani-ryu student, had never seen these weapons before. He was so impressed with Taira's technique that he decided to become his student. Akamine Sensei would be Taira's student for the remainder of his life. As Taira's senior student, Akamine Sensei was in the unique position of watching him add and organize the various techniques and kata into the system that would eventually become Ryukyu Kobudo Hozon Shinkokai. In addition to building a structured curriculum, Taira was adding a training element that would permeate all Ryukyu Kobudo waza and as a result become part of the signature of this weapon system. During his travels, Taira met Higa Yuchoku, a student of Chibana Chosen and a noted teacher of tea. Taira and Higa soon became close friends. As he continued his relentless study, Taira recognized that his Kobudo relied primarily on positioning and timing. Though effective, Kobudo lacked the explosive power found in tea. Specifically, it lacked gamanku, or hip technique. Taira's ability to effectively demonstrate hip technique was limited by his age and the ankle injury sustained in his youth. However, he insisted that his students know and understand how to apply the explosive power of the hips. He asked Higa Yuchoku to help infuse his system of Kobudo with gamanku. In 1964, Taira published Ryukyu Kobudo Taiken, the Encyclopedia of Ryukyu Kobudo, the first comprehensive book about Ryukyu Kobudo written in Japanese. Currently, no authorized translation is available to the public in any other language. In 1970, with his health failing, Taira was concerned about the future of his organization, Ryukyu Kobudo Kenkyu Kai. He did not want his organization to die as did Yabiku Moden's. So Taira changed the name to Ryukyu Kobudo Hozon Shinkokai, which translates to the Society for the Preservation and Promotion of the Weapons of the Ryukyu Islands. During this time, he presented his students with the first and only certificates of rank he ever issued. Among these, he issued the first and only Shihan license to Akamine Esuke Sensei. Later that year, nearly 50 of his students were at his bedside when, at the age of 73, Taira Shinken died of cancer. Shortly thereafter, the Rijikai, or Board of Directors of the organization, named Akamine Esuke Sensei as Taira Shinken's successor and second president of the organization. Taira Shinken had a strong contingent of students on mainland Japan who occasionally visited Okinawa to film and photograph him as a reference for their own study. Prior to his death, Taira made certain that his archives were given to Akamine Esuke sensei. Akamine sensei, in turn, handed his archives down to several of his senior students. Kobudo practitioners should note that this footage represents Taira Shinken in his later years. Due to his age and ankle injury, it does not represent the dynamic techniques Taira developed with the aid of Higa Yuchoku. Finally, due to the age of the film and the damage caused by time, the imbusen or paths of these forms are somewhat incomplete. This footage is now offered to document and preserve Taira's body of work. Imbu Taikai is an event unique to the Okinawan culture. When a famous person dies, his successors honor his legacy by conducting commemorative demonstrations on the 1st, 7th, 13th, 25th, and 33rd anniversaries of his death. To Westerners, the anniversary dates may seem a bit strange. Here, it is important to understand that Imbu Taikai are designed so the person and his contributions to the Ryukyuan culture are remembered by at least 3 generations after he has died. For this reason, when such events are held, much of the Okinawan community comes to support them. In 1995, Ryukyu Kobudo Hozon Shinkokai members from around the globe met in Okinawa to celebrate the Taira Shinken Imbu Taikai and commemorate the 25th anniversary of his death.
東の国中国は傘を広げたようである。日本は馬の蹄鉄の大きさ。この琉球はたった針の先であると称します。その馬の蹄鉄からヒントを得た鉄鋼の方でした。さて、それでは本日ご来場いただきました皆様に琉球古武道保存振興会会長赤嶺英介より皆様へご挨拶申し上げます。温かい拍手でお迎えください。
本日はお忙しいところ早々ご来場いただきまして本当にありがとうございます。平真剣先生の2代目の本性赤峰でございます。平先生は明治35年6月12日久米島中津さんのマジャナが生まれでございます。
そして生活の中から優れた武具を発達させて今日に伝えますというのが探検俗に論珍とご覧いただいておりますのが亀の子。琉球古武道保存振興会講談社の皆さんと共にご指導ご鞭達を仰ぎながら琉球古武道保存振興会は躍進いたします。ご覧いただいております由利川の金与座正夫塚山道場支部長です。 誠にありがとうございました。以上をもちまして終演です。またお会いいたしましょう。
You've been watching Taira Shinken, father of Ryukyu Kobudo. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation and now have a better understanding of Taira Shinken and Ryukyu Kobudo Hozon Shin Kokai. Please join us for future presentations in this series.